Let's have a closer look at what we learned from the second F1 race in 2024. We saw a high downforce track in Bahrain and a high speed track in Saudi Arabia. First of all, we could see how teams changed to a lower downforce configuration because of Jeddah's high-speed character. So teams use rear wings with less camber, and they also use the center cut in the flap to reduce drag. We talked about this in my earlier videos, but let's explain it again because there are some funny stories out there. Because of the DRS location, the flow on the pressure side of the wing is disturbed and there is a little wake, which will get to the underside of the flap through the slot gap. Because of that, the flow on the suction side loses a bit of its support and there is weaker flow, so it separates early. That increases drag, and the triangular separation zone on the lower side of the flap does not contribute to create downforce anymore. Hence, teams are cutting this area off, which slightly reduces downforce because you lose a bit of the pressure area above, but most importantly, for tracks like Jeddah, you reduce drag. Also, because of that, the overall efficiency of the wing increases. On other tracks like Monaco, where dirty downforce is okay, so downforce no matter what drag penalty, teams don't cut this area. They have a bit more downforce, but also a bit more drag. So, with this out of the way, let's concentrate on the car's performance. Red Bull has been dominating once again, as we expected since their car launch. They developed their car further, positioned all cooling further forward, and hence have a lot of space for clean air to flow to the back, and produce downforce there. So they also had a very stable rear end in high-speed turns in Jeddah. Ferrari could halve the gap to Red Bull in comparison to last year. They have a much more stable car now that they changed to large downwashing side pods, and they concentrated very much on reducing the tire wear, their big weak point last year. Now they almost have the opposite problem. They cannot get the tires up to temperature fast enough. But even after a long run, they're still in good shape, and Leclerc could still drive the fastest lap of the race just before the end on old hard tires. Ferrari intentionally used a higher downforce level, which helped tire wear as well, but made them slower on the straights. But overall we can say that Ferrari is on a good way. Mercedes, on the other hand, is still suffering from their old weaknesses: high-speed instability and bouncing. And that's not really a surprise, since they started 2022 with the wrong concept, with a large exposed floor area and with super small side pods which couldn't keep the front wheel wake outboard. In 2023 they continued this concept and changed to large downwashing side pods, but the packaging underneath wasn't made for it. And now, for the first time, we have a car that was designed for large downwashing side pods, but they are still lacking experience with their floor because they had other problems to fix in the past. In Jeddah they tried to cure the instability with a larger rear wing, but this didn't really help and just made them slower on the straights. Keep in mind that a rear wing has a downforce to drag ratio of around 3, a floor of around 11. So a larger rear wing doesn't give you as much downforce, but increases drag by quite a bit. In other words, if you don't fix your floor, your rear wing won't help you much. So Mercedes needs a steep learning curve now to fix their floor, to get rid of bouncing so they can drive lower and reliably produce more downforce with their floor. McLaren is on a good path again with their evolution of last year's car. Big weak point in Jeddah was their lack of top speed, so they have to work on their DRS delta, so the difference in top speed with and without DRS. Aston Martin has a good pace as well, and it looks like they understand their new car. Alonso could even manage the gap to Russell during the race. So it looks like the two Mercedes customer teams understand their cars better than the works team. Like we forecasted at the end of last year, Haas has the advantage of having a good Ferrari basis. Their usual problem is the development race during the year, where they cannot keep up with the competition, also because of their slim and special structure. Good is that Haas concentrated on fixing their tire wear issue, which seems to work now and helps them during a race. On one lap, Haas, Racing Bulls, Williams and Sauber have a pretty similar pace. In the race you could see that Sauber and Racing Bulls couldn't keep up with the Williams. And unfortunately, pretty much last is Alpine, the Renault works team, which also suffers under people leaving the team. With the pressure and missing investment from the French headquarters, the situation is not going to be better. And if targets are not reached, they fire even more people. The headquarter in France saw McLaren's rise last year and wants to do the same thing, so they copied McLaren's management structure. But only this won't make the car faster, and there is a lot more to it. The Alpine, for example, failed crash tests and needed more material to pass them. That's the quick fix, which results in it being overweight. At the same time, they have the weakest engine due to poor decisions before the engine freeze. These are problems McLaren didn't have. Or what do you think? Will Alpine find the way back to old strength soon? Or will they be the first team to be sold if Renault loses interest? How did you like the first two races so far? Let me know in the comments below and check out my other videos for more.